Okay, and just to review, everybody right now should be finishing up their daily do now. So if you're joining right now, everybody is getting their do now done. So click on your do now. And then answer the 2 questions. And if you're brand new today, it's okay, do your best guess. All right, so let's go back because I know a few people just joined. And just if you're brand new today, I want to make sure that I review that you have to do this step. So if you have not done it yet, you're going to click on the syllabus for our class. You're going to review the information about the course. So you can see through here, talking about the schedule, right? The expectations. And again, we will have a new schedule coming up with different times. Once I get that officially, I will share it out with you on Google Classroom.
Miss, so it's a fact that our schedules are changing?
Yes, yes, it is. But we just talked yesterday that at the staff meeting that there's different times. People are kind of suggesting like that we have, some people said like a 45-minute class, some people said a 50-minute class. So it's 100%, it has not 100% been like officially secured. Do you know what I mean? Like it hasn't like been confirmed which one we're going to go with. Yeah. So again, once I hear that, I'll give it to you guys. And then I just want to quickly review this because this becomes an issue later on when people ask me, you know, what does it take to pass the class? The biggest thing is this is a digital photography class, so you've got to make sure that you're actually taking photos, right? So the major projects, the photos are going to be 40% of your grade. We will have classwork assignments, not as often, but those would be 30%. We will have one this week, and I'll kind of start that with you so you can understand how to do it. And then we'll have those daily do nows. We'll have do nows Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So even if you're not supposed to be in a Google Meet, you still have to be actively participating in the class. So I want you to just kind of do a daily check-in with the do now. And then if you need to be taking photos that day or need to be working on your inspiration sheet, whatever you need to tackle for the week, okay? So you need to be engaging every day with the assignments, all right? General course information here, and then the contract. So if you have not done this step and gone through the syllabus completely, please make sure you do that and then complete the Google form right here. The Google form is a student contract saying, you know, I've read the syllabus, I know what's expected of me, and then just some general information as far as contacting your parent or guardian if we need to, okay? So make sure you complete that. That's an easy thing, should only take you a few minutes. All right, so at this point, you should have completed your daily do now up here, right? I'm gonna go through the information and kind of break things down per the week. So every week, I said it's earlier, but I'll repeat myself because we had some people join late. Every week, you're gonna have to do an inspiration sheet and you're gonna have to do a photo shoot. Okay, so let's talk about what these 2 things are. Let's come down here and view the assignment so you can see it larger. Okay, so for this week, our focus is something called the rule of thirds, and I'll show you a little bit more about that in just a minute. But when we're doing some research, kind of thinking about what you want to take photos of and how you want to lay things out, sometimes you just need some inspiration to go off of. So we're going to do an inspiration sheet weekly, kind of see what you can find and kind of build off of for your own photos, okay? So to do this, I kind of put it step by step for you. English on top, Spanish on the bottom if you need it. So step number 1, you're going to go online. You're going to search some images on Google and specifically look for rule of thirds this week. We're going to look at 3 images minimum. You can always do more than 3. Like if you find, you know, more that you love, include them. You're going to copy and paste them onto a Google slide or a Google document. I'm going to show you exactly how to do that in just a minute. And you're going to list ideas for the assignment. So like, what do you like about this photograph? What do you want to include on it? For when you take yours, you know, just a quick little thing about it. Just kind of see that we're brainstorming before we actually do the activity of taking the photographs, okay? So let's kind of do this together so you can see how to do it. And if you're following along with me, you can actually do these same steps as I'm doing them, okay? You can choose obviously different pictures based on what you like and what you don't like, but let's just kind of show you step by step how to start. So first thing, go online. So I'm gonna go over to Google. Now, when I'm signed into Google, you can see at the top, I have my little like, I don't know, icon, logo, picture, whatever. You can see up at the top here, that's my information that I'm already logged in. So make sure, one, that you're logged in with your Google ID for school, okay? Second step, you can click right here. Sometimes call this a waffle, these little dots right here. And you're gonna just click on, you can do slides or docs. I'm just gonna do docs. If I'm making a brand new doc, I'm gonna click this plus sign right here. I'm sure most of you have already done this before, but just in case if you needed a step by step. So the first thing I'm going to put on here is my name. So I'm just going to write your name. Obviously, you will write your actual name. And if I look at the description for what I need to do for this, my second step is to choose 3 images that I can use for inspiration. And our theme this week is the rule of thirds. So what does that mean? All right, so I'm going to go back to Google here. And I'm just going to type in rule of thirds. But I'm going to go to images. All right, so if you've never heard of rule of thirds before, what we see here is a whole bunch of pictures, but they all have these grids in front of them. Does everybody see that? So you're looking at all of these pictures and they all have kind of like lines in the photo, right? So what these lines are is if we divide an image or photograph, an artwork into these separate sections, they're equally spaced, right? You can see, what is there, 9 of them, 3, 6, 9, you have 9 different squares. These lines are dividing up your frame into equal sections, and they become these, if you follow these lines, they become areas of interest. So especially where these lines cross, these little like hotspots, like these intersecting areas, if you have things in your photograph that hit these lines, it makes it more balanced, it makes it more visually appealing, it engages the viewer more. All right, so you can see here, even they put like little plus signs right here. So to tell you where these lines intersect are areas of interest. So your eye kind of pulls into that. So if you have something like in the center of your photograph, it's okay, right? But if we took this image and moved them over slightly, it would engage us more in the background, right? Because they're still slightly centered. But if we look at this one with the dog, his head is right here on this intersecting point. So these lines that are here kind of help divide our space. But it also, if we hit those lines or these intersecting points right here, it makes our visual or makes our photograph more interesting, okay? So it makes it more visually dynamic, it engages us, it pulls us in, all right? So we are looking to use this rule of thirds when we're taking our photographs, all right? You can see, I can actually go down here, how you can include anything in your photograph as long as it kind of hits some of these lines. Some of you may have had this on your phone before and just didn't realize, right? Because we're using our phones instead of actual cameras because everybody has access to the phone. If you don't have access to a phone, please let me know because it might be difficult to do this class, right? But normally, like if we're taking a photograph, you may have had it happen before on your phone that you have the grid show up. It's very easy to turn on this grid, right? If you just do a quick Google search, everybody's phone's a little bit different, but if you do a quick Google search, you can kind of look up like different ways that you can bring the grid in, and it can help you, right, when you're trying to take these photographs. So I'm looking for some inspiration. So I might have some photos on my phone already that I've taken that might work perfectly with this. So maybe I have one from a beach when I went to go visit my family. So maybe I'm going to take one of those pictures that I already have on my phone. So I'm going to right click and copy this one. And this is going to be one of my inspiration ones. So I'm going to come over here to my document and I'm going to right click and paste. Now, when the photograph comes in that I'm using for inspiration, it's kind of big. So I'm going to resize it. I'm going to grab the corner, click on it, and just make it a little bit smaller. So my first idea is to use one of my photos from my trip to visit my family. Okay, so here's my first idea, kind of looking at these pictures. I see some cat and dog ones, so maybe I have a picture or I can take a picture, right, of my cat or my dog or my pet at home. And you can see how his face is right along this line here, and it hits two of these intersecting points, kind of making it more dynamic. Check out this one. His eyes are exactly at those points. So if you put the grid on your camera before you take the photograph, you can line it up. Now you can also crop and edit your photograph to adjust it. So if you need to adjust something like by cropping to make sure it hits the rule of thirds, you can definitely do that too. So I'm going to take this as my second inspiration. So I'm going to come over here to copy image, just a right click and copy. Come back over here, paste it. I'm going to resize it. And my second idea is I am going to take some photos of my pet. All right, so we need to have a minimum of 3 different ideas. I see a lot of nature ones. Maybe last time I went to go visit some friends, I took some pictures out in nature. I went hiking or something. It could be something around the house. So we could do something like maybe I have a vase in the kitchen, right? Picture of a flower. Pretty easy, right, to do. I'm sure you have access to something around you in your everyday life. So let's try to do let's type up still life. So a still life is where we have an arrangement of just objects that are just sitting still. It's not something that could actually move, right? So I'm looking at different things like what could I do? I mean, I always go to this cup one and it always pulls me in. But something as simple as an apple, right? Look at where the apple is hitting these two intersecting lines right here, making it more visually dynamic because it kind of pulls you into the space. You wonder what's happening behind it, but our focal point is definitely this apple here. So I think I'm going to go with, or I like this one with the books. So I'm going to take this apple one with the books here. I'm going to copy the image, come back over here, right click and paste. And my third idea is going to be take a photo with some fruit in the kitchen. It's up to you. It's what you have around you. You could take a photograph of things outside. You could take a photograph of your friend, your family, inside the house, a still life. You can take old photos that you've already taken and edit them to make them work with this rule of thirds, okay? So the biggest thing we're looking for is that we have these major parts of your photograph hitting the intersecting lines, okay? So like even with this one, you can see how there's an intersecting line right here. The focal point of this ring is right there, okay? You can see how it draws our eye in if we're hitting along these lines, okay? So that's all you need to do for your inspiration sheet. It's super simple. Can you do more than 3? Yes, you can do like 15 if you really want to. I resized them to make them a little bit smaller because we don't need 10 pages of super huge images. I think we get the gist with a small little thumbnail kind of picture, right? A small version of it. But once you're done with this, you're then going to save it and turn it in, okay? So this is how you're doing your inspiration sheet. So let's come all the way back to our classwork. So every week you're going to have an inspiration sheet. It should only take you a few minutes to do, and it's going to be a different topic. So again, our thing that we're looking up this week is the rule of thirds. So your photo shoot for this week, so I'm going to go to view the assignment here. So this is your main studio project. This is the thing that's worth the most points. You have to go and take some photos, all right? So here it is in English at the top, Spanish at the bottom, if that helps you. You're going to take 5 photos that accurately depict or show the rule of thirds. The easiest way to do this, I think, is to put that grid on your phone. So look up your phone type and just Google how to turn the grid on for your phone when you're taking your pictures with your camera, okay? Complete your inspiration sheet first. Again, if you have photos on your phone that you've taken previously, you are welcome to edit and crop it and adjust it so that it still meets that rule of thirds. You might have a photograph where you have a flower in the middle. Maybe you adjust it and kind of put it to the side where it hits an intersecting line. So think about like what you can adjust and what you already have. So you may already have photos in your, camera that could work, or in your phone that could work easily. Okay. When it comes to turning it in, it becomes tricky if you try to have to send it to your computer and then you have to pull it up. I think the very easiest way to upload your photographs is to make sure that you have the Google Classroom app on your phone. That way, when you go to turn it in, you can just go directly to your phone images and pull those in. Okay, so if you don't have the Google Classroom app, I think a lot of people do, but if you don't have the Google Classroom app, I would add that to your phone. It makes your life much easier when you're turning in the photos. Okay. Down here, there's some visuals, some Google slide information, right, that we can go through. So let's kind of just do a quick overview on this rule of thirds. I've talked about it a lot with you, but I'll just kind of give you some specifics. So this is a guideline that we're using. It could be in film, it could be in paintings, it could be in photographs, it can be in any artwork when you're trying to look for something that's balanced. When you see where these lines are intersecting, 41% will come up here first. They'll come up to the top left right here. Okay, so if you're trying to get the main area of focus, you might want to hit one of these on the left side, these intersecting points on the left side. I just want you to see some visuals, see where the landline hits, right? We'll often see in a landscape where the landline would be down here if there's a beautiful sky, but it'll be up here if there's really a lot going down, a lot of interest on the bottom part on the ground. So it may adjust based on what you're looking at. Make sure you have a clear and interesting subject. Okay, you don't want the whole thing to be blurry. It's okay if you use portrait mode on your phone if you have that, and you can kind of blur out the background, but you got to make sure that you have like something or somebody in the foreground to make it interesting. It does not have to be a person, right? So this is just glasses that are arranged. It could be a photograph that you took, when you were on vacation somewhere. That's a landscape. And again, what it's doing is it's moving your eye around. So if we look back at this, your eye will start here, come around, come through the piece. That's the idea, that we're kind of engaging the viewer and getting their eye to move around the whole artwork or photograph. There's a video in here. I'm not going to play it. You can play that on your own. And here just lays out part 1 and part 2. So again, making yourself an inspiration sheet and then taking your 5 photographs. Okay, so 5 images minimum. You can take more, but 5 images minimum. It's important for you to understand, though, that you can take 5 of the same subject. For instance, you may have had 3 different ideas in your inspiration sheet, but you decide that I really like taking pictures of my dog. I'm going to make all of my pictures of my dog just different shots, right? Different angles, different like perspectives, right? Kind of move things around to make it interesting. So you can have the same subject, just take different versions of the photo. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like if you need to move around to different angles where it's light and dark, just to get different things going on. So you can have the same idea 5 different ways or more. Okay, so here's your general information about the rule of thirds. And we'll go back. So that's your weekly assignment. All right, so this week you need to take 5 photographs. Before you take your 5 photographs, do your inspiration sheet. Okay, now before we get going into our actual project, I want you to just have a quick introduction to some basic compositional things that we use for photography. So this is a classwork assignment that I posted Monday. And again, you do not have to wait for your Google Meet in order to start your work for the week. So sometimes if you come in on Thursday and you might feel rushed to get everything done, you should just check in on Monday, see what's posted, and then you can kind of decide how you want to best use your time, okay? So you don't have to wait to get going on anything. I'm not going to hold you back at all. You don't have to wait for me to instruct you if you know what you need to do. All right. So some people have already completed this, but I just want to post it so that everybody can see the steps on how to do this. So if you've never clicked on a Nearpod before or done a Nearpod for a different class, You'll click on it. It should open up for you. You'll put your name here. So let's put this. Then you can click through the slideshow and there's interactive things. So I want you to kind of look if you've never done this before. So we talked about the rule of thirds so far, but there's other rules when it comes, or just guidelines when it comes to photography, okay? So for this lesson and just to kind of understand the 9 rules of photography, I want you to think about what they look like, how do you apply them, can you create a visual example of them, okay? So not only can you identify it, but how would you recreate it? What would it look like? So we'll be doing that with some sketches. All right, so the first thing that'll come up will be a poll you'll have to answer. Have you taken photographs with your phone before? Have you taken any photographs with the camera before? Do you have some experience? Do you have zero experience? You don't know what a camera is, you've never seen one. So odds are you probably have some experience. Maybe you feel like you're pretty good at taking photographs. Maybe you feel like you're a next level expert and I can't wait to see your stuff, but I'm just gonna choose like some. You choose whatever answer obviously works for you. All right, so these rules are more like guidelines that kind of help us make a better picture. We've all seen photographs that are really blurry, or you don't know how to light it accurately, like you have somebody in the front and they're all dark, and or just the layout looks weird, and you just know like what's a good photo and what's a bad photo, right? We can tell the difference, but you may not know how to get there. So these rules or guidelines can kind of help you have a better finished photograph that's more artistic and more engaging, right? So here's the first part of this where we talked about the rule of thirds again. And you can see having those lines dividing up your frame and wherever they intersect makes it more visually dynamic and interesting to look at. So right where this hawk is, right right along this line. Now what I want you to do is, and again, this is all brand new to you, I want you to make sure that you can kind of apply what you just learned. So when you see one of the different rules there, I want you to think about what that rule is and how can you show that. So we talked about the rule of thirds a little bit now. So if I was trying to view my screen as a photograph, how could I divide it? Well, the first thing I'm thinking about is that I need to kind of put these lines in here. And don't worry, I'm not going to judge you. I know we're all drawing on computers and it's not, the lines aren't going to be perfect, but I'm going to put in some lines on this one. So I have a line going down, line going down, line going across, right? I'm kind of dividing up my space just so I can kind of see my general guideline. And again, not perfect, not, you know, doesn't have to be like end all be all. So I'm just going to do like, let's say a landscape. So if I was taking a picture of a landscape, maybe my land is back here. So this is my land. Maybe I have some trees. Try to go for pine trees. Don't judge me. And maybe I have like a really big pine tree right along this line. Again, I'm not looking like for the most amazing picture ever. I'm just getting a general idea. So my landline is there and maybe I have some water over here. So maybe this is where my water is. So this is all water, waves, maybe a rock or two. And then up on the front here, I might want to hit this intersecting line right here with like some flowers. So that's showing the rule of thirds. So you can see, because I put those red lines in there kind of as a guide to help me, where I want to hit those intersecting lines with my image. Then the next one you would go to is talking about balancing. Okay, so I'm not going to go through this whole thing because I want you to go through each of these and try to draw a visual. Now you can even look at the reference pictures that are in here and try to recreate those. If you need to go back and forth, that's fine with me. But I want you to kind of think about these different rules of composition. And I want you to try to do your best to draw something or sketch something just to kind of help it lock it in your brain. Okay, so just a different way to process this information. All right, so these 9 rules of composition are there to kind of give you a general overview. We're going to be looking at the different rules throughout the semester, and we'll probably go to the next one, the balancing elements or leading lines next. And then every week when you have a photo shoot, you're going to be hitting one of these main points, okay? So you're going to complete this Nearpod on your own. That's what it looks like. So if you've never done it before, you're going to click on that and get that Nearpod done, okay? So that's your number 1 assignment for classwork, to do that first. So if you didn't do your do now, go through and do your do now. It only takes you like 2 minutes. It's only 2 questions, super simple. If you're brand new today to class, go to your syllabus and complete your Google form, your contract, student contract, okay? And then third on the list is to do your Nearpod. And then after that, you're working on taking your photographs, okay? So I've talked a lot, I've covered a lot of information, just kind of reviewing everything. Next week, again, we'll have a new concept that we're covering, and you'll have to take 5 new photographs. Okay, so every week we're gonna have a photo shoot and a photo inspiration sheet. Okay, just so you know kind of what the layout of the class is, so you know what to expect. But I've talked quite a bit here, reviewing everything that you need to know. I wanna know, what kind of questions do you guys have? Anybody have any questions? Anybody started taking their photographs?
I did.
How'd it go?
It was okay. It was cold outside though.
You took outside ones?
Yeah.
You can always do it from inside through your window too if you need to. Yeah, if you're gonna take pictures outside, make sure you bundle up. But there was a lot of beautiful snow out there, so you can definitely take 5 snow pictures if you want to. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave this room open. So if you want some one-on-one help with something, or you're kind of confused with something, you can stay on, okay? If you wanna work on your Nearpod or go and start taking your photographs, if you have not done that already, you are welcome to use this time to do so, okay? So what I'm gonna say, if there's no more questions, just one more time, anybody have any questions, concerns? Okay, if everybody feels good, I'm gonna let you use this time to go ahead and go to work. If you wanna stay on the call, you can. Like if you just wanna keep the room open, you can, it's open for you guys. Or if you have questions, you can stay on, okay? But everybody else, if you feel good, go ahead and get to work, okay? Bye, guys.
Bye. Have a good weekend.
Thank you too.